They'll see this video and say, hey, I watched this video and here's what I would like to do as it relates to this video. And I will step them through why this video was served to them, what it looks like to have a vehicle like this, and what it looks like if you kind of come out on the other side of this thing, and the impact of having a self-directed IRA, what it can do for you, what it can't do for you, what's the impact tax-wise, all of those kind of things, and then step right into, but here's why a 401k would work better.
So why would you even want an IRA? Well, you may not after you watch this.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to open a Roth IRA and show you how a Roth IRA works. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is open a Roth IRA. And you can do this through dozens of online brokers. Some popular choices are Vanguard, Fidelity. I personally use Schwab. The next thing you're going to do is contribute, aka add money, using after-tax dollars. And ladies and gentlemen, for most Americans, the money that you get in your paycheck is after-tax dollars. And you can contribute up to $7,000 a year if you're under the age of 50, and you can contribute $8,000 a year to your Roth IRA if you're over the age of 50. Now, for all of you watching that are over the age of 50, just remember that it's never too late to open a Roth IRA. Now, after you've opened a Roth IRA account and contributed or added money to that account, the next thing you're going to do is invest that money. And this step, ladies and gentlemen, is very, very important, because a lot of people open a Roth IRA and they add money to that Roth IRA account, but they forget to invest that money. And you can invest your Roth IRA money into stocks, bonds, mutual funds, or index funds. I personally prefer index funds. And last but not least, after years of contributing and investing your Roth IRA money, after the age of 59 and a half, you can withdraw some or all of your Roth IRA money tax-free. So even if your Roth IRA has grown to a couple of $100,000 or a couple of $1 million, you can withdraw some or all of that money tax-free after the age of 59 and a half.
Okay, so he has financial coaching, by the way. So this is not only just information that he's sharing with his audience, right, with everyone. He's also saying you could pay me for this information and I will guide you through it. This is terrifying, but it's happening all over the place. I want to throw this in here, though. This is why we now have laws being implemented to stop people, just anybody, from becoming a coach, especially a financial coach. This is terrifying, actually, because the moment that you realize that this is flawed information is too late. It's too late. Or you have already gotten structured in with an IRA, and then you call Donnell and you say, well, I didn't know at the time when I got my IRA, and so now I want to switch it over to a 401k. Then what happens, Donnell?
Okay.
But they won't tell you that either, because most of them don't even know that a self-directed 401k exists or that you can get your own 401k. And so therefore they're unfamiliar that it's even possible or how to use them even. So there's a lot of things that we're going to address here. One of the particular downsides of an IRA is something called UBIT. There's a lot to unpack, like an envelope of income, business income tax. And that's what we're going to peel back today, because you don't hear people talking about it a lot at all.
But hold on, there's so much here. Because in all honesty, what was said wrong in the video?
Okay.
Nothing. There was nothing said that was actually wrong in the video. What I also loved about it was bullet number 3, because I run into this a lot. People say, go get you a Roth IRA, and they start putting their last year it was $6,500 and $7,500 or whatever that dollar amount was last year. Now it's $7,000 and $8,000 that you're able to contribute into into an IRA or a Roth IRA. So everyone went out and got one. And I've got clients who have had them for 5-6 years. And their comment is always, well, not always. I've had several who have commented, but it's not growing. Mm-hmm. I've got the Roth IRA, I've got the IRA, I've been contributing my $6,000 to it, but it's not growing. And my normal question is usually, what is it invested in? And there's almost this look of invested. I'm supposed to invest it. Like, I thought if I contributed to my IRA or I contributed to my Roth IRA, it was going to do something. And again, there's so many banks that offer these. There's a lot of times that things get lost in translation. And so what I love about his bullet number 3 was making sure it's invested in something. And so what ends up happening is I get a call going, hey, I want an IRA because I understand that your site, sdretirementplans.com, you offer IRAs. Yep, I do. So I would like an IRA, and I would like so that I can start investing in some of these mutual funds, stocks, and bonds. And I start asking questions like, why? Why? What is the reason for you wanting to be able to invest in these things? Hey, I want to grow retirement income. I want to, do all of these things. And so as we started peeling back the layers, what we start to learn is one, either they fully understand how an IRA works, or there's a lot of misinformation out there, and it's just so much clarity needing to be provided to understand what this vehicle is and what it isn't. And so again, in this video that we just watched, he's absolutely correct. You have to make sure it's invested in something, and how it's invested matters. And so if you want, sweetheart, we can jump right into the vibe board, and I can walk through kind of again making the walk from this video to a call that I receive around, hey, I want an IRA, and we can kind of step through it. Or if you have any other questions or anything you want to touch on, we can, because we are absolutely going to break down UBIT and what that means and where it's impacted. So again, there's a lot that we offer. There's a lot that I talk about. But again, going back to that video talks about creating a Roth IRA. And whether we're talking about a traditional IRA or Roth IRA, to me, they're the same as far as what you can do with them. Yes, one is better tax advantage than the other, but the bottom line is we're talking about an IRA in general. And so, and usually what happens is most people are looking at an IRA. I want this IRA so that I can start building supplemental income to support my traditional 401k or defined benefit plan or TSP or whatever the case may be, not realizing that their IRA is tied in to what's called the compound interest or the investment equation, meaning where their IRA is invested and how that IRA grows is completely dependent upon this investment equation, meaning the performance of their IRA is completely dependent upon what's happening in the market. And so when we break down, as you guys have seen before, as we break down what that ultimately means, that means, hey, their IRA is tied to this equation. What that ultimately means is, hey, there's risk involved, meaning risk of the stock market. And so as we break down, hey, IRA, what is it? How do you use it? What are you wanting to invest in? We immediately jump to, well, how can I get my money out of the market? And then we start talking about a self-directed IRA. So from a video like this, we go from, hey, I want an IRA to be able to invest in mutual funds, stocks, and bonds, only to learn those mutual funds, stocks, and bonds actually, due to risk, are impacting my ability to really significantly grow my IRA. So, hey, how can I convert my IRA to something like this? How can I move my traditional retirement account or my Roth retirement account into a vehicle that has less risk? Well, in order to do that, what you would want to do is put it in a position to where you can self-direct it. So what does that mean? All that ultimately means is, hey, I want to reduce, if not eliminate, the risk. Put my IRA in a position to where I can pay myself first, immediately, somewhere secure. So if I'm going to get my money out of the market, what is it that I would be able to invest in? Well, that's where I usually introduce the non-traditional investments like real estate, like land, like gold and silver. Some people see crypto as a better opportunity. I don't necessarily do that. But bottom line is, it gives you the opportunity to be able to invest in what you want. Put your money somewhere more secure than where it is today, meaning it's not impacted by who's president. It's not impacted by what happens in the stock market. And then compound your money, and then ultimately put your money in a position to where you can leverage OPM to be able to do other things. And so as we talk about how to generate, how to create an IRA, what does that look like compared to the traditional or the Roth IRA that you would actually have with Fidelity? And what that ultimately looks like is, hey, we're going to take that same IRA you have sitting at Fidelity, and we're going to move it to a new custodian. Why? We're going to move that money to a new custodian and generate and or create a brand new IRA for you. We're going to create a brand new IRA using, and all you need to be able to create an IRA is earned income. So anyone can have an IRA. Now, if you make too much money, that will impact what you can contribute into an IRA. But the moral of the story is anyone can have one. Any earned income can fund an IRA. So what we would do is move those funds from that Fidelity account, move it into a brand new self-directed IRA. But just because it's moved to a self-directed IRA does not mean you now have checkbook control over those dollars. That does not mean that you can now invest in non-traditional investments. That does not mean you can get your money out of the market, is my point. The IRA has to have some structure, and that structure is created by the IRA itself purchasing an LLC. And again, that's the IRA. The funds from the IRA are going to purchase a brand new LLC. And that LLC, what happens with that LLC is that LLC has its own EIN number. And when the IRA purchases the LLC, which has an EIN number, we will then use that EIN number to open up a checking account. And then what happens is then you're able to transfer the funds from the IRA into the checking account of the LLC, which now gives you full control over these dollars. But again, just because the funds are now sitting in that IRA, that doesn't mean that they're going to magically go to work for you. No different than when you open up a regular IRA with Fidelity or Equity Trust or whoever. So the bottom line is, once these dollars are here, you still have to take action. And just so we're clear, I've talked a lot about IRA, traditional dollars versus Roth dollars. And I just wanted to remind everyone what I mean. Whether I'm talking about Roth or traditional IRAs, I'm just talking about when you're taxed. For a traditional IRA, you're taxed at the end. You're taxed when you go to take a distribution. As far as Roth, you're actually taxed in the beginning. So if you're investing, if you're contributing $1,000 a year into your IRA and you pay taxes on that $1,000 at the end of every year, then what you've done is you converted that $1,000 into a Roth dollar amount. And now anything that grows from that Roth dollar amount over time, when you go to take a distribution, that distribution is then tax free. Versus if you're putting in traditional dollars, meaning you're putting in that $1,000 and you're not being taxed on that $1,000 that's going in. Once you go to take a distribution, then you will be taxed on the distribution itself. And just so we're clear, Roth is a condition. Your money being converted from traditional to Roth is simply a condition. It is not something that you have to ask to do. It's something that you can choose to do. And when you choose to do it, you can actually use that money at that moment to be Roth. The condition that has to be met, though, is at the end of the taxed year. So if I converted that $1,000 today to Roth, at the end of the taxed year, so on December 31st or whenever I do my taxes for 2024, I will then 1099 R myself for the amount that I converted. And then the second step is my account has to be in place for 5 years. Once my Roth account is in place for 5 years, anything that happened with that $1,000 from now to the 5-year mark has now been growing tax-free. And then by the age of 59 and a half, I can now access all of those funds tax-free for the rest of my life. And so my point in sharing this is the structure. The structure of an IRA is pretty simple, but an IRA is just a glorified savings account. And it does not have the capability for you to be able to self-direct it and invest in what you want without structure. So what I do is I apply that structure. And as he also stated in this video, contribution amounts. Contribution amounts are $7,000 if you're under the age of 50 and $8,000 if you're over the age of 50. But again, just because you contributed $8,000 into your Roth IRA, your traditional IRA, your self-directed Roth IRA, or your self-directed traditional IRA, doesn't matter. Just because you contributed that $8,000 doesn't mean that that account is going to do anything for you. You have to put that money to work. But what does that mean?
Well, real quick, also, who is retiring off of $7,000 or $8,000 invested a year?